What's up, YouTube? We sold both trucks. Thank God, huh? We took a little less for the red one, but we made good on the gray one, the one we painted the fender and door with. Turned out wonderful. So I got back to looking, and today I found this one. He was asking $1,700. The ad legit said needs rear end work and front end work. So I was curious, I asked him, well, what's it? He said he has no idea, making a noise from the back. I had to go look because I talked him down to $1,000. And one of these for $1,000, you gotta at least go see, because I can buy a rear end for this thing cheap and throw it in like 2 hours. You know what I mean? Make a quick $1,200. So I went and looked at it. I drove it, and literally the right rear caliper is sticking and grinding. The pads are worn down to nothing. I just drove this thing an hour home. It runs amazing. One thing, he told me it has about 230, 240-ish on it. One thing is the miles don't show up on the odometer, but we're not gonna mess with that. I don't like messing with any of those things, so it is what it is. But it runs amazing. It needs tires. It's got new headlights, new grill, and it's got one new tire. Rockers look pretty decent, but fenders look amazing. It comes with another door, a whole set of rocker panels. Let's get in here. Open that door. Comes with headlights, marker lights, cab corners. He pulled the radio because he wanted to take it, but then he ended up throwing it on the deal. Bluetooth radio. Listen to this thing start up. You can't even hear it running. It's got a little belt. I don't know if that's a pulley or what, but I mean, she runs good. This thing drove home amazing. I just acquired a whole set of rockers and cab corners for free. Lights for when I have to replace them. I got a rust-free door, the same color. I actually just went and looked at a GMC yesterday that had a dent in the driver's door. And I was like, I didn't buy it because of that goddamn dent. I actually should go look at it again today. Put this door on it. We got this here. It's still intact. It's surface rust. So I really do want to treat that and possibly put fender flares on it. Or what I'm thinking, because of Christmas, is I bought it for $1,000. I drove it home. I gained a door, front end parts, rockers, cab corners. I put the radio back in it. I post it right now today for $2,300. Try to slang this thing today, get right rid of it, make a quick $1,000 and move on to the next one. I could do a caliper, I could put flares on it. We've seen it, we've done it. So my strategy on this one is I'm gonna post it today for $2,300, and if Monday rolls around and I still have it, we go to the junkyard, we get flares, we paint them, we find tires. For some reason it's got a brand new tire here, and the other tires, it needs tires. Look at these things. Maybe that's why he said it needed front end work, but when I drove it home, it drove perfectly straight, perfectly quiet. I honestly didn't notice anything wrong with it. What do we got in here? Some pipe tape, some and one socks. What do we got over here? We got Sharpies. I bought this from a body shop. It actually had a sub box in it with some kicker 12s. Here's the wire. I haven't really gone through this. There's my title. He actually wrote me a nice receipt. We just got home, so I figured, whoa, oh, that's not a cup holder. Huh. Empty. We just got home, so I figured I'd film this thing, get an update up as to how we're doing with cars lately. You got that gas cover right there. But honestly, guys, $1,000, runs and drives great. Probably needs a caliper. I don't know, maybe able to take the piston apart and lube it up, grind it down with a wire wheel and make it work again. May try that first, but he thought the rear end was going out of it, so I test drove it, and this is how you know. If the rear end's making noise, you drive it for 5 minutes, let it grind and make noise, and then when you stop, you climb underneath it and start feeling your rear end. First thing I did is feel for the center pig by the drive shaft. If that was grinding and it was a pinion bearing, it would have been smoking hot. It was cold, so I went and I felt the other wheel. It was cold. This wheel right here was scorching hot. So either a bearing in that shaft or it's a caliper. I haven't gotten in there. Like I said, I instantly said, yeah, I'll buy it. Gave him $1,000 and hit the road. Yeah, so we got it home. I got to go work on that pole barn again. Hopefully that'll be done soon. And maybe we'll get into this thing, maybe we won't. Because for me, it's you know, 6.5 a dozen. I can sell it now without putting the work into it, or I could put a couple $100 into it and put my time into it and make the same money. You know what I mean? Sell it now, make 1,000, put a couple hundred into it, maybe make 1,500, and it's going to take a couple days. So I'll go both ways. I'll post it now, get it up there, and then I'll just commence to finding parts or figuring out what's wrong with it. And when I do, I'll just erase that ad and put up a new ad. You know what I mean? But everybody wants a good running truck, so it's nice and straight too. That's what I like about it. It runs amazing, drives amazing. So yeah, you got all those parts for free. I'm getting paid to take all those parts. That's awesome. Next day here, and the second day is always the day you find out if the person you bought the car from is lying to you. I always worry about the second day. Like, is it gonna start? Is the battery gonna be dead? What's different? And it is what it is. I know he forgot to tell me that the tire leaks there fast. So, yeah. So second day is usually when you figure out what the guy lied about. God, listen how quiet this thing is. It's just so quiet. I love this truck. I started up, so we're good. A flat tire. I knew I wanted to get tires for it anyway, so that doesn't bother me too bad. I do need to get something out here to see if I can narrow that up, because I want to get into that rear end and see what's wrong with it, whether it's a caliper or a wheel bearing. I guess I've never really dealt with a wheel bearing in the back of these before, so we're gonna learn something today. Let me get this tire aired up and pulled into the garage. All right, just pulled it in here, started going through it. We got gloves, we got new socks. Love when I find new socks in a car. Got new marker lights. Well, they're the old ones because the new ones are in it. Obviously we know the door and the rockers. These are the headlights, which are still very usable. So that's nice. I'm running out of room here, guys. I'm desperately looking for a shop, but you would not believe what people are trying to get for a frickin' shop in Michigan. I mean, the crappiest ran down shop. They want $3 grand a month. I'm not paying that, Why would I pay that much? So, but look at these WeatherTech mats. All throughout. Gotta love that. Nothing in there. What's in here? Nothing. But yeah, it is what it is though. It's a nice truck. Now it's filthy because I drove it. But it is what it is. I did get the tire to end up taking air. I can't hear a leak, so obviously it's a slow one. But I'm sure he knew that it was doing that, and he never told me. And that's what you got to kind of look for, guys, is when you're buying these, you know, is the person covering stuff up? Do they seem trustworthy? For me, I went and looked at this at a body shop. The guy comes out of the body shop on a Sunday. So he's got quite good access to a body shop if he can be in there on a Sunday. And, you know, I'm asking him, you know, questions about it. Acts like he knows nothing about cars. Like, dude, you're in a freaking body shop, bro. You know stuff about cars, so quit acting dumb. You know what I mean? But for me, I've bought worse for more. You know, that last charcoal one I bought for $1,500 was way worse than this one. Needed more work. So let me get this rear end jacked up and we'll see what we got. Alright, first glance, I don't really see anything too wrong. It's got a new rotor on it, or newer rotor. Looks to be a newer caliper. So, that tells me it's got to be a bearing back here, something. So we need to get this apart a little bit more and check it out. Brand spanking new Michelin on this one corner. Got 3 ball tires, 1 brand new Michelin on this corner. We got a new rotor on this corner, new caliper on this corner, new tire on this corner. My guess is someone was trying to fix something on this side. This is definitely the side that's got the problem or the issue, so let's dig deeper, see what we can find. Alright, we've got all our parts laid out here. You can see all those little metal shavings? Let's see if we got movement. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, I guess that means to fix it, gotta pull that diff cover, which is gonna drain all my fluid. Pull this shaft out and figure out how you put a bearing inside there. I've never done it. I'm sure I could watch a video or two on YouTube and figure it out. So let me look into this and we'll go from there. Poof, I'm back. So that's no bueno. I went and watched a video. Something I didn't really want to get into, but what kind of channel would this be if we didn't fix it? So, got a puller, got a bearing puller, a bearing, and a new seal, and of course, lube. So, let's get this thing up a little bit higher, and we got to pull that diff cover off, which, yeah, it is what it is. You know, I'd rather get this thing in here, have this thing running nice and quiet, and I got to get to the junkyard. I want to buy flares for this if I can find them. This truck will be insanely clean. I mean, it's beautiful. So I can bring a lot of money off this. If I can make, you know, $1,800 off this thing, that's only $2,800. The truck's worth $2,800 running and driving good. Let's get going. We'll figure out how to do this ourselves, and you guys will get to see the struggles and how it really is. Oh, yummy. Right there is why you should probably change your differential oil. Holy cow. Yum. Alright, I've only got 2 more bolts to go. I'm going to let this drain for a while. And then we'll see what the inside of this looks like. Alright, here's the inside of our diff cover. Man, that magnet did an amazing job. Holy cow. Just cut all the metal. For the most part, it's pretty clean inside there. We'll let it keep dripping just a little bit. Wipe it down a little bit, and then we got to throw this in neutral so I can spin that rear end and get that bolt out. I forgot what size it was already. Alright guys, we're in. So next step is this little bolt right here. We got to pull it, and this pin right here will drop out. So you put your truck in neutral and turn your drive shaft, and it rolls it right to where you need it. I think I'm going to try to bring it back here so I can get a ratchet on a little better, because right now that pin will come down and hit the bottom, so we want it to come out this way. So let's see if we can do. There, I'm thinking just like that. Now I want to find a good socket, get it on there, and no way that bolt should be froze. It's in gear lube all day. So, but looking at this gear lube, what's with the white? Does that mean water got inside there? I don't know, but other than that, this ring gear looks pristine. It's still got the, you know, the ribs on it from machining. Honestly, this thing looks pretty good. So let me try to get this bolt off, get this pin out. Then our next step, we got to take the C-clip out that holds our axle. Not at all what I thought I'd be doing today. Alright, now we pull this pin out. We can push our axles inward and get this so-called C-clip out. Alright, so I had it rotated the other way so the pin would come out the bottom this way, but then I had to rotate it more so I could get to these clips. Once I started rotating it, these spider gears, they stay, and then they no longer line up with these holes. So I don't know how hard that is to get back lined up, or what it would even take. So I put the pin back in, rotated it around so I can pull the pin out the top, and I can still see in this window. Once I pull this pin, I'll push my axle in, and then you'll see I'll pull that clip out, and then we'll be able to slide the axle out the other side. So, but yeah, just so you know, line this up to where you can see inside it to get these C-clips out, and to get this shaft out. Otherwise, you pull the shaft, you start turning it. I noticed my spider gears stayed where they were, and nothing was lining up. So I don't know. I've never done this before, so I don't really know what that would do or how hard it is to get them back in there. But I don't want to deal with it. So here's what we got. Let's pull this pin out the top. And that's what that looks like. Okay, now that pin's what holds those spider gears, so those are free floating now. Let's get you moved. Don't know how that goes on there, but I know you use one of these. Voila, C-clip. So that goes on there, then you suck it back into the hole, holds it on. Walla walla bing bang. Alright, let's see if we can get this axle out now. Whew. Oh shit, that sounded like a gear, didn't it? You can really mess up a shaft. Alright, so that's not looking like it's going to come out of there very well. Let's get our puller set up and try to yank that. Alright, this is the end that goes in there. You slide it in, folds up, and then obviously slide hammer action. she's out. Let's take a look at this bearing, see what happened. That would be that squeaking and crunching noise. So we got a new one. Hopefully it's easier to get in than it was to get out, because I had to try 3 different heads on this thing, and the end of this slide hammer is all stripped out, so I pretty much had to put new threads on it to get it to work. That's not going to be fun to get off there. I've cleaned it out real nice. It's clean. We're going to put some grease in there, start sliding this thing back in. Hopefully it goes in to those gears in there good. We'll see. All right. Got it in. It's even. I added a little grease. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not, but my opinion, more grease better, you know. It's high temp grease we use on 6-inch diameter ball bearings at a power plant. It's got to work for this. That's in. So one of those spider gears did fall out in the back as I pulled the shaft. So yeah, great. Grand. But I mean, we're gonna learn how to put it back in. So I mean, they gotta be able to, you gotta be able to change them, so they gotta come out somehow and they gotta go back in somehow. Let's show ourselves how to do it. But before we go too far, let's get our seal in. I will let you know that when one of these gears falls out, it's a process to get it back in. I've got Maddox on the end of that shaft rotating this thing, and it sucks it up in there. When this doesn't line up, I have them come back, I move it down a tooth, and then I have them suck it in there. And I think we got it. But when I shoved that shaft inside there, it knocked the gear out, well, all these gears out onto the ground. So I had to clean them and figure out how they go back in. But I think I got them in. So we need to put our C-clip in. All right, Maddox, push in on the axle towards me. Yep, all right. Now let me get that clip in there. All right, pull out. Yep, beautiful. Sucked it right in. Like that. Turn counterclockwise half a turn. Not even, nope, right there. All right, back clockwise. All right, hold that. Oh, pull the axle shaft back to you. Back to you. More.
It's not. It's locked up.
It's locked up. Alright, you tubulous, I might have to move you out of my way, but basically, fight this shaft back in, get the bolt in. Just learned a lot. So, got the shaft back in, all the gears line up now. Got my bolt in right there. We should be ready to go. I'm going to clean this off here. I got to stuff some rags up in there so I can clean all this gasket material off right here. I'm not going to make you guys watch that. Well, we seem to have lost all of our daylight. I got the cover back on the differential, and I went to remove the fill plug, and it's frozen in there and half-ass stripped out. So, you know, I had no choice. Usually you're supposed to check your fill plug before you drain any fluid, but either way I had to do it, so now I have to deal with the fill plug. So we're gonna hit it with some MAP gas, and hopefully I'll find a good extension in my box, something I can hammer in there, get it in all the way, and get this thing loose. So let's start heating this bad boy up, get some fluid in this thing, see if we quiet it down any. Here's the fill plug. She's nice and crusty like the rest of the truck. So let's heat all the way around this thing, try to expand the metal around it, and break that free. Next step is to weld a nut onto it. Alright, got a 14 milliliter bolt in there. Gonna weld all the way around that thing. That should make it nice and hot. Turn my wire speed down so we just get good hot penetration. Should work. If not, Lord help me. I welded a bolt inside there. Let's see if we got it. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. All right. Sometimes all you need to do is get it real hot and weld it. That right there is probably the best way to fix a stripped plug on a rear end. Anything that has a female end on it that you can put a bolt in. I mean, you can stick it in there and you can just weld the piss out of it. Gets it nice and hot and helped us in this situation. So let me get this out. We'll get some fluid in this thing. Whew, she's warm. Hot. And there we go. There's our new fill hole bolt. So it's in. It's got fluid in it. I'm going to let it sit till tomorrow. Take this thing for a drive. I went ahead, put the brakes back on. You can see it's got a new caliper on it. It's got new rotors all around, which is nice. I know they did a caliper here and they did one on the other side, so that's nice. It is weird that we have one brand new tire and a bunch of ball tires. All in all, we got it. That just goes to show, if something's wrong with your truck, you might as well get under it and try. I mean, with YouTube and everything else, you know, basic tools in your garage like we do here, you can get the job done. And I advise anybody, if they're gonna buy an expensive tool, buy a welder first. I use that thing for almost everything. I love it. It's bailed me out. If I didn't have a welder right now, I would have never got that plug out. You can get tools, you know, from auto stores to get that out and this and that, but sometimes it's late at night, you got work the next morning, you got to be able to do what you got to do. So fire up the welder, weld the bolt to it, and boom. I'm going to store all this in my basement. I don't want this out in the garage getting banged up. And someday soon, we'll be putting rockers on a car or on a Chevy, so that'll be cool. I'm going to get this tire on, get this wrapped up. And there she is, guys. She moves without grinding, sounds great. I had a couple stop by tonight because I posted it before I fixed it, and they actually want it. They actually made a full price offer, but they can't get the money till Friday. So, well, Wednesday they can have most of it, then Friday. I told them, you know, if I still have it Wednesday, awesome. But if somebody comes by, you know, and wants to buy it, they didn't leave a deposit today. They want to leave a deposit Wednesday. So I told them, you know, if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'd rather try to get money now than have to wait till Friday or the end of this week to get it. It's a nice truck. I know it's going to bring money. Without it grinding like that, it's going to bring even more money. So I might have shot myself in the foot by fixing it, but, you know, I don't like selling things that don't work. You know what I mean? If there's something wrong with it that I can fix, I generally want to fix it, you know? That's how you replace a rear end axle bearing, I guess. We got it. It was a little bit sketchy at first. It's all cleaned up in there. It's got all new gear oil in there, so that rear end's gonna last a lot longer. It drives smooth. It just sits there and runs perfect. It's nice and quiet. The interior's clean. I thank you guys for watching. It's been a while since I've worked on anything. I was thinking about it today. I was like, man, I haven't really worked on anything in a while. Should probably do a video. So here it is. It was my first time doing that, and just goes to show, if something's broken on your car, start taking stuff apart. You'll have to figure it out. But remember, we have an Instagram, KB Motors Channel, no spaces. My email is in a link below, and I always leave links to tools I use. I'll leave a link for that puller and that bearing puller. Check it out if you need one. They're pretty darn cheap. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Hope you're having happy holidays. I hope this season's going great for you guys. It always works out. Just know that. Have faith, and remember, you know, you've made it through everything else in life. You can make it through whatever you're going through now. So, appreciate you watching. Peace.